class.
Oh,
It's Friday night. Katie's already talking about going easy on Wally tonight. Oh, man.
Whoa.
I don't know.
Oh, I never said about Wally. I said on the drinks.
Drinks. Oh, yeah.
It's been a long week. I don't know how easy I'm going to go on them. But anyway, welcome to Friday Night Likes, everybody. This is the West Ham game show. These guys are going to compete for likes. I've got questions. I'm going to ask them. They're going to answer. If they give me good answers, they'll get a thumbs up. And if they don't get good answers, then Wally gets to berate them once he comes back in at halftime. So let's go around and see who we got today. Wally, our co-host, our collaborator, our question engine, King of Prussia King. What's going on? Who are you? Where are you? How do we reach you on social? And what are you drinking tonight?
Well, hey, John. I'm actually not in King of Prussia tonight. I am on the Emerald Coast of Florida, otherwise known as the Redneck Riviera. And like a true redneck, I'm drinking Jack Daniels pretty much straight with a few ice cubes from a plastic cup. So just, and you know what? I'm using the bottle of Jack Daniels to hold up my iPad. So true redneck style.
I love you, Wally.
Redneck ingenuity. We love it. Well, Wally, lovely. Make sure you don't get too many of those refills. Otherwise, you won't have a phone stand. So I'm going to put you back and let's meet our guests. I think our first guest needs no introduction. Runner-up on Friday Night Likes of last season, Miss West Ham Philly. You can find her downstairs on any given Saturday. Katie, who are you? Where are you? What are you drinking? How do we reach you on social?
Well, I think you just gave me the introduction yourself. You know, Katie, I'm from Philadelphia, Miss West Ham Philly on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I see Chris and Neil and Fo in the chat room. I got some good entertainment for you guys tonight. And Danny, I hope you all join me in a little bit of fun.
There we go. Lovely stuff.
Oh, and I'm drinking Prosecco.
Prosecco. Look at the straw. Look at the straw. And she's conscious about the environment with that metal straw.
Exactly.
Andrew, first time on Friday Night Likes. Who are you? Where are you? How do we reach you on social? What are you drinking?
Yeah, hey, so I'm Andrew. I'm here in Virginia Beach right now. I'm chilling in a hotel room, so hopefully there's not going to be any kids or dogs running around. Drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon because it was the cheapest 6-pack that I saw. And you can reach me on social media. I'm at Pompwana74 on Twitter. So PHOMPWANNA74. So I just retweet,
good stuff.
Kind of stuff. Yeah, man.
Nothing wrong with the Pabst every now and again. Sometimes the beer that is there is the best beer in the world. So not too bad with that. I'm John, your host. This is Friday Night Likes. I'm drinking a Kona, a big wave golden ale tonight, which used to be one of the better breweries in Hawaii, and now it got bought by Budweiser. So it's probably made in New Hampshire, but that's fine. Anyway, let's get on to it. So I've sent these guys some questions in advance. I'm hoping they give me their best answers. Let's talk transfers since that's been all the rage lately. Benrahma, give me your best argument why West Ham actually need Benrahma. Let's start with Andrew.
So I think this squad needs a little bit of bastard in it. I think it's full of good dudes, it's full of good, likable guys. But I think the biggest difference between this guy is I hope this guy brings a little bit of flair and a little bit of attitude that this squad lacks. From what I understand, Anderson's a good dude, but he's pretty reserved and never really went out with fellas and stuff. So I'm hoping that Benrahma, can bring a little tenacity to this squad.
Yeah, I like that answer. I certainly think that could be an issue. Who do I have here? Who's coming in? Tim. Do you have sound, Tim? Or do you only do mannequin, Tim? Oh, we can't hear you. We can see him. We can see him swearing. Kate, let's come to you on that question while Tim sorts his sound out. Benrahma, give me your best argument why we need him.
Okay. So he had an ankle injury in April of 2019. So of course we'll take him. I mean, come on, it's the West Ham way. Perfect fit. He's anyway, let's backtrack. But he is Mr. Bright Said. He did come back in 2020 from his ankle injury. He was nominated as Player of the Year. He does hold 2 international caps. Best player, in my opinion, in the Champion League right now. I think he's great on the move. He's one of the best technical players out there. He's a great distributor. If you look at his passing record, I really truly think he would be a great distributor up to Antonio at the top. So I'm in. I'm ready for him. I'm happy about it.
Katie giving lots of points there. I didn't know how many thumbs to throw, but I think your overall point of the things that he brings to the team is a good one. Tim, you got audio, and I'm taking it you're stepping in to be our third guest.
I don't know.
That's not fair, Tim.
Can you hear me? No?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Awesome. Great. Hi.
Hello. What do you think of Benrahma? Give me your best argument why West Ham need him.
There is none. Pass.
All right, pass. That's fine. We can move on to the next question, which may be better suited to you. Give me your best argument why we do not need Benrahma. Tim, why don't we start with you on that one?
We have too many wingers. That's what I heard anyway, right? Didn't one of our owners say that?
There was a room going around.
Yeah. No, that's it. We so what happens to Fornals? Because I mean, who's he replacing in the starting 11? Like, I don't know. But I thought we were fine. I mean, especially up top anyway. We need I mean, unless we use him as a left wing back or something. I don't know. Yeah. It's we have too many wingers. End of story.
Andrew, give me your best argument why we don't need Benrahma.
It's a good question. So I would say we've got 8 wingers, so we don't need any more. David Sullivan. I don't know where he fits in. I don't know where. I don't know if he takes Fornell's spot with the bat or how it's going to work. I would say that, you know, with the last 2 games that we've played, I don't know if you mess with a winning squad, but you know, I don't know where to fit in. In terms of an investment, I think that the money needs to be reinvested elsewhere. But, you know, at the end of the day, I'm still happy with the signing. But I would say that in terms of just spending, you could have probably spent it a little bit better elsewhere at other positions.
We'll get into that in a second. Katie, best argument why we don't need him.
So I don't think we need him because I believe we need to strengthen our back line. I've always been tried and true to that. I really didn't think we needed another winger at this point. We have plenty of players that we could have shifted to left wing as well. But I did hear that Sullivan is recruiting a back left. His name is Rigor Mortis, but he will only be playing for the Stiff. So unfortunately, we can't get him, but he probably wouldn't pass medical anyhow.
Going all in on the Sullivans tonight. So do you think it's a good buy, or as Andrew's alluded to, should the money be used elsewhere? Andrew, why don't I come to you first since you started down that line of thought?
So I'm happy that he's on our squad. I think that he's got the potential to bring us something that other players in our squad don't have. But that being said, I think that if David Moyes wants to go with wing backs in a kind of front three with Antonio and then Fornals or Benrahma and Bowen on the right wing, you know, I think it kind of makes sense. But at the same time, dude, our center mids are awfully thin, you know, and if Rice gets hurt or if Souček gets hurt, we are fucked. And everybody seems to think that, but then again, you know, we get rid of Josh Cohen, we get rid of Jack Wilshere, and granted, he's always hurt. But, you know, I think that, you know, we're weak at a number of other positions, and we backfilled one spot that, according to Sullivan, we've got 8 guys. So it's time will tell if it was a good buy. Hopefully, if he produces, then, you know, great. But if not, and we get hurt elsewhere, we're going to be in trouble.
Katie, should that money being used elsewhere?
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted Matty Cash. That is my man, and I think he would have been a perfect fit for us on the back line. Diop, I hate him there. I think Masuaku is just okay. Obviously, Agbana does fine. He's our best back player at this point. Then we're just left with who else can fill those other spaces. I'm sorry, Wally, but your man just isn't enough for me. Fredericks isn't enough. He's doing great right now, but we need someone else. And I'm disappointed. I think that's where the money should have spent, not on, come on, you Irons.
Tim, should the money have been spent elsewhere?
Yeah, of course. It should have been, but it never was, right? One scout and I'd say most of Moyes' targets, they were unrealistic for David Sullivan anyway. It was never going to happen. And that's it's a shame. I don't know if Craig Dawson was really Moyes' target. I think that if we were going to spend that much money on a 30-year-old, we could have brought somebody home who was a lot better. But Mr. Tompkins. But besides that, no, Dawson's the relegator version 2.0, and I'm not looking forward to having him. And that was a big waste of money. And Benrahma was the biggest waste of money. But you know what? Not for the fact that he'll play well. He's a good player. It's just a matter of who's he replacing? That's what's pissing me off. I can't figure it out for the life of me. Who is he replacing in the starting 11? Because it's sent to me that everybody that we have was doing just fine. Does that mean I really think that means Fornals is going to get dropped? Because they're not dropping Bowen, they're not dropping Antonio. We really don't have any other attackers up there that's starting, especially in the current formation. I don't know if he's planning on shifting it around now that we have that extra attacker. But I don't know. I'm not happy.
Yeah, I think, and it seems like we've lost Andrew for a second, but I think everybody's kind of touched on all the points around this. So there's a couple of issues. One is the storyline, right? There's David Sullivan going out and selling Grady Diangana and saying it's because we have 8 wingers, and then proceeding to go and get another winger in that played about as well as Grady Diangana did in the championship, and we've paid more for him. So that makes very little sense. And then secondly, we have such an unbalanced team to begin with that if you're going to complain about having 8 wingers, then don't go out and buy another one. That just doesn't really make much sense at all. So there's those two things I think are the biggest issues that I have. I hope he succeeds. I really do. I think we all want West Ham to do well, and a good Benrahma is probably a good West Ham, but from the outside looking in, it looks like silly business. Last question of the half till we get to halftime, and that is, which is the worst American sport and why? And what was that, Tim?
Golf.
This is invented in Scotland. You can't have golf. You can't have golf.
Golf is actually my favorite for nap time. If you put it on in the background, it's the perfect nap time snooze.
Just reminds me of visiting my grandfather. You know what I mean? Every time I visit my grandfather, he'd always have golf on, and I would just be falling, like you just said, Katie, I'd be falling asleep on a Sunday afternoon after a nice brunch. But yeah, it was always in the background. But no, are you talking about the major 4 sports or major 5 sports we hear? Out of those, or are you talking just in general?
So I'll let you guys decide what it is. I said American sports. Which American sports are the worst?
Oof, golf, for me.
He's staying with it. I'm going to give you a thumb for staying with it. Andrew.
So I've got 2 answers here. Soccer is the worst American sport because we fucking suck at it. And I would say that our fans are an absolute embarrassment. If you've ever, if you just listen to, every single Premier League team or championship team, and you listen to the songs that they're singing, the level of energy that they bring, it is exponentially better than any soccer environment you will see in the United States, and that is just a fact. Obviously, there are other sports that are popular, which is probably why. But I would say that the worst American sport to watch, unless you're a fan of a particular team, dude, it's got to be baseball. Baseball is boring as hell to watch. 90% of the time, playoff baseball is all right. But I'm a Cincinnati Reds fan, so I'll watch them. But the rest of it, man, it's brutal. I don't just turn it on. It's not exactly fun to watch.
I'll give you another thumb for that. Katie, worst American sport?
Okay, so this is obviously the obvious. I'm going with baseball. The reason is it's so boring. Millennials aren't even watching it. They say it's going to be unsustainable. I mean, there's no point. It takes 8 to 12, maybe 14 hours to get through a game. No one, when they go to the game, no one's watching. Everyone's drinking beer, and the players don't even want to be there. They don't even want to play. They're strolling right along to first base. I mean, come on, put a little effort into it. They're 40 pounds overweight. They eat beer nuts all day, spit in their tobacco. I'm over it.
Okay, you just throwing out points there.
Wow.
Wally, you're not a baseball player, are you? You're too fit to be a baseball player, Wally.
You know what the worst sport is here? Is a relative of baseball. It is called T-ball. And it's for little kids, like 4 and 5-year-old kids, to learn how to play baseball. Except having been a T-ball coach, it's a disaster because you're giving a big giant wooden bat to a 4-year-old and telling him to swing it around. And there's other 4-year-olds milling around. It's insane. It's got to go.
I think we got Andrew back.
All right.
Yeah, Wally, how's everybody doing going into halftime?
All right. Well, we have a clear leader in Katie with 9, Andrew with a strong 7, and Tim, I'm afraid, especially passing on an answer. I mean, that's just can't do that. He's got 5, so he's got to go.
I came on to show everybody what not to do. Number 1, don't come unprepared. Number 2, don't fall asleep before the show, so that people like me can come on. Do I get a thumb up for that one? Anyway, so thank you. Yeah, and the other thing is, last minute, dude. Listen, I should get an extra point for jumping in last minute. Jumping in, taking one for the team. But no, listen, thank you guys. I was expecting to be off at halftime anyway, but listen, have a great show, enjoy, and everybody in the chat room, thank you so much for watching. And yeah, sorry about the transfer roundup show, everybody. There was just a camera issue with Irish Tommy. They'll be trying to do something this weekend. So anyway, have a great show, guys.
Oh, so me and Andrew beat Tim?
I think so, but Tim, you may have to stay in the background. If Andrew's camera keeps going out, you may need to answer for him. So
Okay.
I'll bring you back into the green room.
Sure.
All right, let's get into
I bragging rights against him.
There you go. I mean, you can forever hold that over his head now, so it's fantastic. Let me see. Where are we now? I've got 2 Andrews. Why do I have 2 Andrews? This is actually happening, and I'm going to keep both versions of you up too. Let's go into the next round. Club infrastructure. Describe our transfer philosophy. What exactly is the strategy, Katie?
Okay. So the strategy was to spend as much no money as possible. Yeah, that was really it. I don't understand why we got rid of Diangana in order to purchase pretty much no one, in my opinion. I am just not satisfied. We needed somebody on our defensive line. I'm sticking with it. I'm disappointed.
Andrew.
David Sullivan's transfer philosophy is like a 5-year-old playing FIFA. He sees random players that have a decent rating that make it well a certain team, but it's not conducive to playing together in a specific system. So we'll sign, players X, Y, and Z, and they play well in 3 different formations. Sebastian Haller is a perfect example. So he played well in, I don't know if they played a fall, whatever they played at Frankfurt, but dude, he's not good isolated. He's okay in a 4-4-2, but there's no rhyme or reason to what players they bring in. There's no player that facilitates another player's ability. And yeah, short answer is there is no philosophy. It's whoever Will Salthouse throws up to David Sullivan.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but probably true. Foe in the chat room saying scattergun. That probably describes it pretty well as well. What's more important to invest in to be a successful football club? Scouts or training facilities? Andrew, start with you.
I'll give the diplomatic answer. I would say both. So, in West Ham are a terrible example. So, obviously, you need some level of scouting department to identify talents, to promote certain players that will fit a specific system that you are trying to implement at your squad. At the same time, you need a decent level of facilities to attract players. If anybody's seen what Man City's facilities are like, it's phenomenal. You look at championship squads, and their facilities are great. Ours are trailers, and it's embarrassing. I mean, and that may not be why a certain player wants to join West Ham, but that's got to be a contributing factor. You see the garbage facilities that we've got compared to probably what Brentford has, or pick a championship side. That's got to be a deterrent to a number of players to want to come here, because it's like, dude, this is embarrassing. This stuff looks like shit. So it's got to be both. But if you pick one or the other, I say scouting, so you can identify players for a specific system. But we don't have that, so yeah.
Katie.
I'm going to say scouts because, there's as fabulous as it would be to have beautiful facilities and it would attract players to want to come along to West Ham. That does nothing when we're relegated. So the lack of credibility that we've had with our recruitment staff has been mocked. And in order to not spend as much money as GSB wants to spend, they need to get a scouting staff that's going to actively go out there and find the players that are coming up through the system that they can purchase to fill the holes that we have currently. And they're not doing that.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tragedy. I mean, it's yeah, and I wrote the question knowing that really it's both to be a legitimate football club.
Did you know that's a step song? Tragedy.
Yeah, when the world's going wrong, some is tragedy. You're not getting any thumbs for that, Katie. Stop it. Speaking about embarrassment, Karen Brady, she must be waiting for the transfer window to close before writing her next controversial column. So please predict the headline of that column for me and tell me what she's writing about, Katie.
The title of her article is going to be "How to Cash In on Cashing Out." GSP left all the way to the bank.
I like that. What's she talking about?
Oh, she's talking about how we just got Saeed on a loan and we're somehow going to make the new owners pay for him, not us. So, like I said, they're going to be the ones laughing all the way to the bank.
So you're going down that we're selling up angle. Okay. Andrew?
So, Katie, that was a great answer. My name is a little kind of similar to that. So the headline is "Loans are smart during these financial times because of COVID." And the body of the article is going to talk about how the approach to getting loans over a permanent transfer deal and spending that extra money, how loans are much smarter and how they facilitate saving more money and being more spendthrift while still bringing in talent. And she's going to justify that. Another idea that I had was that West Ham fans or football fans in general should be more grateful for the efforts that the owners of our club that they're trying to put forward. We moved to the London Stadium. There's 66,000 seats in that stadium, from old Upton Park, whatever. And I hesitate to bring this up, but in the body of the article, she'll talk about how it is better that little places here and there like Nathan's and little places like the Bowen Tavern, even though it's still open, that they're closing down because they were a leech on big clubs because she's that awful of a person. That's not what I believe. That's what I think she would say.
That is probably, sadly, a bit too close to reality. So I'm going to end that question right there. Let's go into the last question, Mike. Bit of a quick fire round. I'm going to name a bunch of players, and you have to tell me what type of cheese would they be. I'm sure there's plenty of people that like cheese in the chat room, so make it creative. Andrew, we'll start with you, and then we'll rotate back and forth, and we're going to go with Mark Noble. What type of cheese is Mark Noble?
Mark Noble is cheddar. He is old and reliable, and you may look for other cooler, different ideas to put on your burger, but when you go with cheddar cheese, it's solid. It's not going to fuck up. It's not going to give the ball away, right out to the 18-yard box. He's going to be reliable.
Katie.
Well, the longest serving player deserves the most notable cheese. It's England's favorite cheese, aged cheddar, because there are 27 varieties of cheddar dating back to the 14th century. Bet you didn't know that. But just like cheese, we don't want to leave him out. Or just like cheese, if we leave him out on the pitch too long, he gets a little stale.
Katie, I love the thought that you put into these, I gotta say. Sebastian Aller. Katie.
Aller, he's a Frenchman, so we're going to make him a French brie. He's nice and tough on the outside with that rind, but he's a little soft in the middle, so we need him to improve there. So he, to me, is quite like a brie.
I feel like some of your answers are going to overlap on this anyway. Andrew.
Tough.
That's a really good answer. So I would say Sebastian Aller is like feta cheese. He's decent in certain situations. In a couple of different dishes, he can be really good. But if you throw feta on, let's say, a burger or a taco, he's fucking garbage. So I would say he's feta.
I like that. I like that a lot. Although on a turkey burger, feta's not too bad. But yeah, on beef, it ain't doing the job. Pablo Fornals. Andrew.
So this goes back to Katie's first answer. I think Fornals is aged white cheddar. You might overlook him. He may not be, the number one go-to, but anytime that aged white cheddar is on a dish, it's pretty good. It's pretty solid, and it may not be flashy, but he's solid. He gets the job done. He's aged white cheddar.
I love the overlook piece. That's great. Katie.
Fornals, he's a queso manchego. That's because it ages between 60 days and 2 years. So he's, been with us 2 years. So he's still currently growing, and we expect him to continue to grow. It's not everyone's favorite cheese, but it does. It's a very mild and even cheese, and most people do tend to enjoy it. It's pairable with many different kinds of food.
That's great. Jared Bowen. Katie.
Ooh, so I had a tough one with Jared Bowen. I really had a hard time thinking about what he would be. But to me, he's a jalapeno cream cheese. That's because he spreads so easily. He's hot on the strike, and he can dribble down the field. I'm very impressed with Jared Bowen. He even gets back on D.
Oh, my God. Andrew.
Answers are very similar tonight. So look slightly different. Jared Bowen is the white queso that you get at a Mexican restaurant. He is just awesome all the time. And like Jared Bowen, he puts in a shift. You can eat white queso all night long. And it doesn't get old, and it's good from start to finish. So that's what I got to go with.
Both solid choices. Final player / cheese of the night. Lucas Fabianski. Andrew.
So this is going to be kind of a weird answer.
That's what we're looking for.
Fabianski is Swiss cheese, not because he's got holes in him or he gives up a ton of goals. He's a little bit more mature than the rest of your average cheeses. If you look around, there may be some other guys like a Casper Schmeichel or a David De Gea or whatever. Maybe slightly more appealing on the outside, but when you slap Swiss cheese on a sandwich, dude, there's nothing better, and he will get the job done for you. So I got to go with Swiss cheese for Fab.
It's a nice answer. Katie.
No.
Oh.
So, unlike Roberto, who should be the Swiss cheese with all the holes that he had, honey goat cheese is exactly what Fabianski is. That's because he's the greatest of all times. He's the greatest West Ham goalie. He's easily spreadable and adaptable in situations, and he's got that smooth, sweet taste, just like he is on the field. Smooth with.
Kate, you're on mute. Did you mute yourself or did I mute you?
You muted me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. But go ahead. Smooth, sweet taste of Fabianski. What were you saying?
And he's smooth when he distributes the ball.
Oh, my God.
Hold on. I muted her because I've had enough of that. I had enough of that.
Right, you're just jealous.
You hate it, Tim. What cheese is Fabianski?
He's just jealous because Fabianski's better looking than Tim.
He would have gone with Swiss cheese for fat. We all know that. Wally, what cheese do you think Mark Noble is, Wally?
Mark Noble. Oh.
Yeah. Were you expecting me to say
slow...
Fabianski? What cheese is Fabianski, Wally?
What cheese is Fabianski? Well, he's got to be some kind of sticky, like stringy cheese, that holds the ball, basically. Yeah.
Is that, what's the French one they heat up and they like layer it over food? Maybe use that one.
I don't know, is that brie or camembert or something?
Brie. You heat up.
Brie.
Do you like a bit of baked brie?
And yes, so I know my cheese being from Philadelphia.
Well, really, he should be a cheese whiz. We need to get cheese whiz in here somehow.
Oh my God! Tim's playing with witchcraft in the background. Wally, give us the scores on the doors. What's the final scores and who's moving through?
Well, it's some great scores here. We have Katie with 20, and Andrew also with 20.
What?
Oh my God!
A tie.
No.
Yeah.
This can't be possible. I've lost his stream, so he's coming back. He didn't even hear his own announcement.
Oh dear.
Just give him a second. Andrew, you tied, so I need a tiebreaker, and I gotta think on the spot. Let's continue with the cheese theme, and I need you guys to tell me what the most important part of a sandwich. Is it the meat, the bread, the cheese, or the condiments? And I need you to think on the fly and give me your best reason for which one of those is the only part of the sandwich that you couldn't get rid of. I'm going to come to Andrew first, just because I'm not sure if you're going to be there with your reception. So let's get you while I have you. I might not have him. Andrew, we'll come back to you in a second. Katie.
Okay, well, obviously my answer is the bread. That is what makes the sandwich, because if you didn't have good bread, it would just be like a charcuterie board. Okay, so the bread, especially here in Philadelphia, is phenomenal. If you have a sandwich, a hoagie outside of the Philadelphia area, you're doing it wrong. It's all about the cheesesteaks and the hoagies here, and it's all about that bread. So that's my answer, John, and I'm sticking with it.
Philly does have good bread. The only place that compares here is like New York area for sure.
Right.
Andrew.
Okay, bud, hold on.
Sorry, this connection is terrible. So yeah, I would say it's the meat of the sandwich. It's what you name a sandwich after. So that's what I go with. I think, to be honest, I think Katie's answer is way better than mine. But I think the reason other than a ham sandwich is a ham sandwich. Without it, it's not a ham sandwich. So
aren't you in Ohio?
That is a solid point. You do name the sandwich after the meat. I think I've given 2 likes there to Katie and 1 to Andrew. Wally, please confirm. I can't keep track.
That's correct, yes.
Andrew, I'm so sorry, but Katie, I've got you as the winner for this week. Let me clear the room.
Oh my gosh, Andrew, you kept me on my toes.
Yeah, that was a close one, Katie. Let me clear the room. And what do you have to say to the West Ham supporters going into this weekend's game? Should we feel good, indifferent, positive, negative? And what's your message to the West Ham fan?
Okay, so I'm definitely positive about this weekend. We're going up against Rebecca and my father's favorite team, Tottenham. It's a crime, but we are both West Ham ride or die. I can't wait to see Charlie in the finals. I'm coming for you. And for all my fans in the chat, I love you. It's so great to see you all. Fo, Kieran, let's see. Neil, Charlie Walsh, Lee.
Did you just call out Charlie and then call him one of your fans? That's fantastic.
I know. He is my fan because he wants to meet again.
I'm sure he does. Anyway, fantastic show. Well done, Katie. You go through to the next round. Tim, thank you for jumping in. Wally, thanks as always. Andrew, fantastic to have you on. Everybody, thank you for watching Friday Night Lights. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Go to the West Ham, American Hammers TV West Ham store. Tim, give us a link.
AmericanHammers.net.
That's the one, AmericanHammers.net. And we'll see you all next week. So hopefully we have a good game against Spurs. And come on, you Irons.
Yeah, buddy.
Cheers.